Welcome everyone from around the world. Today we are here celebrating the official launch of Today's Inspired Leader Volume 2. How excited to be here in this moment, in the times that we're experiencing, to still have the opportunity to celebrate big, to celebrate with amazing leaders that are sure to inspire your journey. Thank you so much. My name is Jacqueline Camacho Ruiz, and I'm the proud founder of Fig Factor Media Publishing, a publishing company with a heart. And we say that because we truly care about the stories that are shared in every single one of our books, in every single one of the anthologies. And that passion came to me when I was 4 years old as I started devouring books that changed my life. From that time, after surviving cancer, when I was 21 and pre-cancer when I was 23, I was determined to live a life of significance. Little did I know that launching my first book at 26 was going to set me on a path of elevating stories and magic around the world. I am humbled to be with you today. I'm humbled to unveil the amazing stories of the leaders that you're about to meet today. And I'm excited for you to hold the book in your hands and find quotes of inspiration, stories, and mentorship moments that you can take in your life and accelerate the success to achieve all of your dreams. So with that, I am proud to say that Fig Factor Media Publishing has amassed the largest collection of Latina stories in a book anthology series. So as we continue the anthology passion with Today's Inspired Leader, with all of the amazing leaders that you're about to meet today, I am proud to say that stories are worth sharing, and that every one of the words that is encapsulated in this beautiful book, as the volume 2 launches on this beautiful Saturday morning, with guests joining us from all over the world to share their inspiration, I am sure that you're going to find value in every one of the words. Dale Carnegie, one of the books that I read when I was a little girl, How to Influence Friends and Win People. One of the things that he said is, if you help enough people achieve their dreams, you for sure will achieve your dreams. And he also said that you have to earn the right to speak. And I am sure, I'm certain that every single one of the authors that are going to be revealed to you today have earned the right to speak. They have earned their inspiration. They have earned their place in their business, in their nonprofit, in their ministry, in their companies, in everything they're doing. And they have inspired more than one individual to achieve their dreams. They have helped them accelerate the success in their life because of their wisdom and their knowledge. So without further ado, I am very excited to welcome all of you joining us from all over the world to Today's Inspired Leader, Volume 2. And to do that, I'd like to bring the very first author that will be joining us today. And I'll tell you a little bit about him because I'm pretty sure you'll be inspired as we are. Steve Salazar is the Vice President of THG Financial. He's a financial consultant for personal and business clients and a trusted expert in business succession and estate planning, as well as risk and wealth management. Steve's goal is to help advisors and clients alike make money and have more fun. Who doesn't like that? Steve has two loving parents, John and Carol, as well as two younger brothers, Keith and Jeff, who have helped mold him into the man that he's today. Steve is an animal and adventure lover, and in his free time, he enjoys hacking up the golf course, traveling to new places, spending time with family and friends, and of course, having fun in everything he does. Most recently, he has started doing more public speaking and individual business coaching, two activities he would like to expand. Steve also serves as an adjunct professor who enjoys teaching business and sales classes. So with that, I give an official welcome to Steve Salazar. Welcome.
Thank you, Jackie. And again, I just want to say that I'm humbled and honored to be a part of this group. Never thought I'd be writing a book or a chapter or anything like that. And Jackie helped one of my dreams come to fruition. So thank you very much, Jackie. I'm hoping you can help me out down the road when I want to add more chapters or an entire book. And today I just want to talk about a few things that I think might connect with people, and they've connected with me and they've made me grow as a person. And you'll read it in my chapter, but I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. A lot of it's on mindset. I've been really big into a mindset where, that we can control our mindset. We can't control the world around us. We kind of really see that right now going through a pandemic, but we can control our mindset. And I kind of want to just put positive energy out into the world. And, to start off, I think a lot of people can probably relate to the way I grew up. I grew up in a blue collar family. Love you, mom and dad. And I grew up on definitely the wrong side of the tracks. GH, for any of my buddies tuning in right now. But I think I learned to be myself and have more fun, which is the title of my book, when I went to high school. I went to high school in a very affluent area, and that was the first time I realized status and money. I never knew what that was like until I got to high school. And I was always trying to keep up with the Joneses and dress nicer, have more, talk different to fit in. I didn't like that. I wasn't being myself. So I decided to make a shift in high school and just be myself, have fun, and see if people are attracted to my personality. Surprisingly, they were. That was awesome. They might not be attracted to this mug you're looking at, but my personality was able to bring some people in, and I love that, and I've just ran with it going forward. I've played sports my entire life, and that, I think, is what led me to be slightly competitive, if you know me, and it also got me into the industry I am right now, the financial services industry, where I know, the harder I work, the better I'm going to be out in the back end, and I also know I can have a tremendous impact. When people tell me I can't do something, I like to work a little bit harder, and I think I've done that quite a few times throughout my life. And I discussed that a little bit, again, in my chapter. And I started as an intern, and now I'm here as the vice president of my firm. I'm humbled, and I love the firm I'm with. I get to be myself. I get to use my strengths and leverage my weaknesses. I think that's the real sign of a very, very powerful team. And I'm ecstatic to be with THG, helping people, with their finances from A to Z. My life hasn't always been rainbows and sunshines, either as my childhood or my career. I know my family's gone through some hardships, including when I graduated high school. We went through the absolute hardest time of our life, and that's when we rallied. I fed off my parents to be stronger and better. And I think my family is stronger and better today than we've ever been. We've picked ourselves up from ground zero, and that's where I think I started to realize we can't focus on too many of the negatives. Life's too short to focus on the negatives. So that's something I try to beat into my head at all times. My career has also been fluctuating like the roller coasters we have out there at theme parks. It's been up and down. And, a few years ago, I was really, really down and out. I was going through a tough time in my life in many, many areas. I was just in a huge rut. On social media, my life probably looked great, but inside it wasn't all that great. I can put on a good face and pretend things are great, but they weren't. That's when someone really, really important to me called me out on it. Said, "What are you doing? You're not yourself anymore." And I don't like that. That was a real kick. It was a reality check. And honestly, I was so confused, I Googled depression, and I had 9 of the 10 symptoms of depression. That's when I realized I had to change something. And I have. In the last 2.5, 3 years, I've really shifted my mindset and myself into basically the man I am right now, and I'm super proud of where I've taken myself because I know what I can control. I can control what's going on up here. I cannot control the past or change it. All I can do is learn from it and move forward. I also can't worry too much about the future. If we get caught up worrying about the future, we're going to give ourselves headaches and end up just kind of paralyzing ourselves to do nothing. So when I worry about the future, I just take an action. I just try to be in the now. That's what I'm really trying to focus on, whether it's with my business, my relationships, my friends, whatever it may be in the now. I teach that a lot in my coaching and my consulting sessions, be in the now. Of course, we have to worry about other parts and think about them at times, but don't let them paralyze you. And, as I'm just sort of wrapping up with talking about self-awareness, I've noticed that's changed me tremendously. And I'm always going to try to be the most positive person in the room. I read my affirmations every morning on my little cheat sheet for the day. That's in my book on how to win the day. It helps me trick myself into not going down a negative path sometimes. Feel free to ask me about it. It's a nice little tool that I use to help me moving forward. But I try to be the most positive person in the room no matter what. It could be a client, a friend, a person I just met. I just want to be positive and leave that impact on them. And I'm excited to keep moving forward. My story, like I said, it isn't done yet. I honestly think it's just getting started. And I want to thank all you for listening. And hopefully I'll talk to y'all soon.
Thank you, Steve. To sum up what you just said and how important it is, you say life is too short to focus on the negatives. And what a beautiful message to leave the audience with and to kick this off. Because our mindset and how we embrace something, how we perceive something, and the actions that become congruent to those thoughts, I think is the best thing, that the best path that we can leave as a leader, that congruency. And to show us beautiful congruency of somebody that I have admired for years, with her passion of kindness and, her kindness commitment to the community. Allow me to bring Maria Castro. Maria Castro is an award-winning servant leader and social responsibility expert with decades of experience. She's a 3-time contributing author who appears in Today's Inspired Latina Volume 5, Today's Inspired Leader Volume 2 today, and Hispanic Star Rising, The Face of Power. She's a keynote speaker, panelist, mentor, moderator, and has received numerous awards, including 2019 Negocios Now, Who's Who in Hispanic Chicago, the 2019 Aurora Regional Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Catalyst Champion, 2020 Today's Inspired Latina Woman of the Year, 2020 Hispanic Style Latinas of Influence, City of Aurora Proclamation of Maria Castro Day. Imagine that, having a day named after you for the impact that you've made. Lula Community Service Award, and many others. Her words of advice and everyone she meets is to be patient, be of service to others, be a voice of the voiceless, a compassionate leader, a true listener, a coach and a mentor, and above all, be kind to each other. Maria is married to her husband Martin of 44 years and has 2 sons, Martin, 4, and Philip, 2 beautiful daughters-in-law named Jessica, and 5 grandchildren, Savannah, Martin, 4, MJ, Amaya, Alaya, and Adrian. Welcome, Maria.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you. And certainly I want to say thank you to the Big Factor Media Publishing for this honor. And most of all you, Jackie, because you have truly been a beacon of light in my life. And it's been a pleasure to take this journey with you, and certainly side by side. So, and flying with you in your plane, which was awesome.
Let's not forget about the flying, right?
Let's not forget that. I appreciate certainly the offer to be a part of this book with these amazing book sisters and now book brothers that I have. But certainly it talks about leadership, and, leadership is something that is certainly not granted to just anybody at all. We have to really put ourselves out there. We have to, as leaders, think about what we're doing to use that opportunity to let people follow us, and to certainly give them the right to go in front of us, because we can never just lead from the front. We have to lead from behind as well. I have certainly been in this career industry for many years, probably more than a lot of people in this book will have been. But with age comes wisdom. And I say that lovingly because I know that, it was a struggle in the early 80s when I started my career. It was a struggle to be Latina. It was a struggle to work in a man's world of sales, because I was in the national sales force. And it was tough, but I think throughout the years, you learn how to navigate, you learn how to make sure that you not only for yourself find ways to deal with, all of the challenges that are thrown your way, but certainly all the opportunities and the doors that do open for you, and finding those advocates and champions that took you along. And at the same time, you have to look back and feel like you are the champion and taking people along with you on your journey as well. I'm privileged to work for a company that doesn't just talk the talk, but walks the walk, and gives me an opportunity to really give back to the community, excuse me, where I live and, where I work and play at the same time. It's really important that when you choose a career and you choose a company, if it's not your own, that you make sure that it is a company that does give back, that does invest in the communities, that actually give it their, dollars and opportunities to grow themselves. Comcast has been good to me. I have been there for 15 years now. And I can truly say that at any given moment, anybody and everybody that we touch really does influence other people. And it's just kind of like the mustard seed effect. It really goes on and on and on. And I'm glad for that. I really want people to understand that with this book that we are launching today comes a great opportunity for us, not only to change lives, but also to make sure that we are, as influencers and as leaders, making sure that we are paving the way and giving someone else an opportunity to take that same road, to take that same opportunity, and they themselves grow and take someone along with them. I always say that it's wonderful to have a seat at the table right now, but I always have 5 chairs with me so that I can bring 5 other people with me, and hopefully they bring another 5 as well. So whenever you do have the opportunity, make sure that you put that ladder down, that you let people climb up with you, and that you always give thanks where it's, truly an opportunity to do that, to give thanks to everybody and anybody that has always taken you with them. So with that, be kind, be humble, but be a true leader and take somebody with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maria. I love the quote that you left the reader with this book. It says, "Do not let the unknown frighten you. Let it ignite you." How beautiful.
Thank you.
You have to read this amazing story to see what she means by that. Thank you so much, Maria, for being a role model to our community. And now we go to the other side of the United States, to California, to welcome Rick Nájera. Rick Nájera is an American sketch comedian, screenwriter, director, producer, author, playwright, coach, and national speaker, best known for starring on Broadway in Latino Logs, directed by comedy legend Chic Marin. He has been a writer on Mad TV, in Living Color, and Hulu's Emmy-nominated series East Los High. He wrote the feature film Nothing Like the Holidays, starring Deborah Messing, Alfred Molina, John Leguizamo, and Luis Guzman, which won him an American Latino Media Arts Alma Award. His writings credits include the nationally acclaimed play Latino Logs on Broadway, which made him one of the only 3 Latinos to ever write and star their own Broadway play. He's currently working on his podcast, Nájera in America. Nájera also developed and hosts the Latino Thoughtmakers Live series, now in its 4th season. On the show, he has interviewed his network of celebrity friends, including Edward James Olmos, Danny Trejo, and dozens more. Nájera has been nominated for numerous industry awards, including 2 Writers Guild of America WGA awards for the best writing in comedy, variety, television series, and Mad TV. He had just finished a screenplay for Melissa Joan Hart's Heart to Heart Productions, and she directed him in the holiday film for Lifetime called Feliz Navidad. With that, Rick, welcome to the Today's Inspired Leader official launch.
Thank you for letting me be here. It is a great honor. I think my introduction is going to be longer than my speech. So, but I wanted to really just join everyone here. I think leadership should be fun. And I've had some inspiring leaders in my life. And when I was being asked to write my chapter in the book, my chapter is really about Cesar Chavez, who I knew because 2 of my cousins were married to his daughters, and my family came from that background. I think we're all inspired by other people, and that's the thing that builds us up. And I'll just tell a quick story, is that when I was a kid, I grew up in a little town called La Mesa, California. And La Mesa was a small little town. La Mesa just means table, basically, which is a very dull name to call any town. The other town next to us was Spring Valley, or Chula Vista, which means pretty view, on and on. So the Spanish missionaries didn't know what to call it, so it was just La Mesa. Well, I grew up in La Mesa, and it was really tough. There's only 3 other Latino families in all of La Mesa. And one lived on a chicken ranch down the street from me, and to me, they were the most Mexican family. The other family lived up the street, and they had a daughter I remember was very good in science. And so these Latinos in this part of La Mesa, all 3 of these families were almost pioneers. There just really wasn't any Mexican families there. My family had started Logan Heights, the barrio in San Diego. So it was a unique thing for me. I grew up in a culture clash of cultures. But the beautiful thing is, what I want to say is that ordinary people do extraordinary things. And the person who lived down the street from me on a chicken ranch is now Juan Vargas, the congressman in Congress. It's a congressman. The other person living up the street from me was Ellen Ochoa, the first Mexican-American astronaut. So a congressman, an astronaut, and me all coming up from a little small town called La Mesa. And that's the thing I learned. Ordinary people do extraordinary things. My father taught me one thing that I always remember and keep with me forever. He was a door-to-door salesman. He'd go door-to-door and he'd say, Rick, I go door-to-door every single day. I hear one person say no, and then I hear another person say no, and I hear another person. But around the 100th door, someone says yes. You have to knock on a lot of doors before you hear that one yes. And that little piece of advice told me by a Mexican sheet metal worker has stayed with me my entire life. It's good that our people are very much into family and culture and pride and all the things we're into, but it really comes out of love. And that's what true leadership is, being loving. So thank you, Jackie, for having me on this to talk about the book. I would urge everyone to get the book because it's has great tidbits from everyone's life about leadership, and leadership in the end is love. Thank you.
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much, Rick. And we've been in New York at the New York Times with Latina Talks, and also Mexico with the first Today's Inspired Latina International Summit. And every time that you speak or you interview some of the authors, you leave the audience inspired, with your amazing stories and anecdotes. So thank you so much. I know your quote, that we want to leave the audience with so they can read more.
Yeah.
If you can see an example of leadership, then you can become an example of leadership.
So true.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So much. Wow. Are you inspired yet? If you're not, we're going to continue to unveil the amazing authors that are part of today's Inspired Leader, Volume 2. We're here celebrating, and the next author that I want to bring on camera is Christine Coleman. Let me tell you a little bit about Reverend Christine Coleman. She is a writer, motivational speaker, televangelist, and founding pastor of Blazing Holy Fire Church. A native of Rwanda, Christine migrated to the United States in 1997 after surviving the genocide and wars that ravaged the Great Lakes region, in which she lost her 3 siblings. Coming from a world where dictatorship and injustice have reigned more than 2 decades, Christine has dedicated her life to being an activist and a voice that speaks for the persecuted religious and minority groups. Christine has been anointed with the power of God to bring forth inner healing, miracles, signs, and wonders. The Lord has also anointed her to pray and minister of heads of states and world influencers. In May 2017, she was one of the nation's faith leaders who joined the President Trump at the White House, and he signed an executive order to protect religious liberty. Christine is the author of SOS, Rwanda's 30-Year Apocalypse, and the Blazing Holy Fire books. Her weekly TV show, Encounter the Real Jesus, is bringing hope and healing to those in need. She's married to Michael Coleman. They have a son, Christian, and they make their home in the Rocky Mountains. Welcome, Christine. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be part of this book. I do believe that today history is made. I do believe that today a dream has been fulfilled. And those of you who are listening, as we share our testimonies, as we share our success, I want you to know that through our sharing, a dream and a seed is sown into you. And I do believe one day you are going to reap. In this book, I share one of the story. I share my success, but I have to say, life has not always been rosy and fair. There has been a great moment of despair. Times where I stood between life and death. A time of great testing and trials. What comes to my mind is, why do they call them trials? Why do they call them testing? In school, when the teacher gives you a test, You know what happens when you pass the test, you go to another level. So I wanted to encourage the people who are listening and the people who will be reading this amazing book that testing means that you must endure, you must stand. Testing means it's only temporary. After the test, you are going to go to another level. So life is about to persevere, to endure, to push forward no matter what happens. Because when you persevere, absolutely, you are going to reap, and you're going to reap good things. In the book, I share my testing growing up in a country where there is utter poverty. Everywhere you look, there's nobody who can give you $1. There is no way out. But inside of me, there was that dream that I can do something. I can do something. That's all I had. And then I was hoping that somehow my parents are going to help me. But when I was about 12 years old, both of my parents, they died from 1 year within each other. And on top of that, when I was in my 20s, early 20s, a war happened in Rwanda. For 4 years, everything that we had was taken away. So you can tell it looked like I was going from worse to worse. But here I am today, and I say you can fulfill your dream. Don't let anything stop you. As I'm about to close, I would just say that the genocide also happened. But you know what? The suffering and the pain, they are for a little while. In spite of all of I went through, I am living my dream today. And as I told you, history has been made today. Those who will read this book, their lives will be transformed. And I am glad to share that I'm a part of the history maker. And you can too. Let this book inspire you. Let this book motivate you. You are on your way to succeed. Read and listen and do something. I want to say thank you, Jackie. You have been my angel. You and your team, you have been my mentor, and you are always in my prayers. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, what a beautiful testimony of resiliency and, what you've experienced in your life and where you are now, touching the lives of thousands of people is such a beautiful testimony of your conviction, the beautiful testimony of your will, your resilience, and your inspiration and your mission in life. So thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to feature your story, as well as the other amazing stories. You're right, we're making history. And her quote is, the worst nightmares of your life have no power to kill you and to kill your dream, but are the tools to train you on a launching pad into the miraculous. How beautiful. Thank you. Now we go to the other side of the world, to the Netherlands. Joining us next is Afi Han Obrabier. Afi was born in Belgium in 1979 as a third child of a Moroccan family. She grew up in a violent home and found shelter in a foster family at the age of 15. By the age of 17, she was supporting herself, and against all odds, she built an academic career in grant consultancy. At the age of 24, she participated in a national television program called Star Academy. She used her fame to fight illiteracy and benefit vulnerable children. After working with a few of the largest consultancy companies in the world, she served as a grant expert at the Dutch ministry. At the age of 28, she founded De Vouwers. It is a leading array of major European grant projects aimed at the labor of integration of vulnerable groups and refugees. As an entrepreneur, she's committed to social and economic equality by donating part of her proceeds to charities. It is our pleasure to welcome Afi.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Jacqueline, and everyone for having me. My name is Afi de Haan. I was born and raised in Belgium, and I have Moroccan roots. So, well, I've been living in the Netherlands for 4 years now. I am married with my lovely husband, Arthur, and he's a beautiful Dutchman, by the way. And by getting to know him 20 years ago, I got 2 beautiful stepchildren. I am very honored to participate in the co-authorship, and I would like to thank my best friend, Virginia Calisaya Terceros, which is as well one of the writers, the co-writers, because it was at her invitation that I was, that this was made possible. So what an adventure, and what an emotional adventure, because writing down your life is very confronting, but at the same time beautiful and an extra moment to be grateful in life. I thought it was really, really quite exciting. I was actually wondered, is anyone interested in my story? But the feedback I received from wonderful people like you, Jackie, Karen, Scarlett, and all my family and friends who were involved in the process convinced me of the right choice. So I really want to thank them, and really sincere from my heart. If we can only inspire and influence one person's life in a positive way, then this whole project is already valuable and already successful to me. So in my story, I take you into my life, because as a young girl of 6 years old, I lost my father to cancer. But when I was 12, I worked as a full cook in my mother's restaurant. And, you know, at the time I was living at home, I was living in an environment of tyranny, and where physical violence was often used. But, you know, despite to the grief, I remained a happy and positive girl at that time, and I hope still today as a woman. And you know, when I was 15 years, my mother put me out on the street in the big city as Antwerp in Belgium. And actually it was the beginning of an uncertain life with different kinds of threats. But I had learned to work, and learned to work very, very hard. So, you know, my perseverance, my positive outlook on the world, and the fact that I'm immensely curious still, it all led me through all these difficult years. I learned to quickly turn setbacks into opportunities, because that's what I always do, and in my private and in my professional life. Now these days, well, I am an entrepreneur and I work on the field of grants and incentives. And my goal is to lead the projects and incentives, and connect people involved in the most positive way that I can. And it is now my professional job to turn threats into opportunities. And currently I work on behalf of the Dutch Ministry of Public Health, and because I'm asked to help with the implementation of a national grant program. So, well, besides that, I am actually as well leading a citizen collective called Crew Against Corona. It's a collective of about 100 people, and together we help the most vulnerable people in our city, especially these days in this crisis all over the world. So, you know, at the age of 15, in the eyes of many people, and especially in my own eyes, I had little chance of staying on the straight path. But today I am proud of what I have achieved, and it's a great, great honor to share my adventure with you through my story. So I really, really want to thank everyone, and well, thank you very much for having me today.
Thank you so much, Afi, for the fire that is driving your impact in Belgium and the Netherlands and across Europe, and helping the less staff a variety of ways, right? It happens when we overcome adversity. It happens when we say yes to the burning desires in our hearts. It happens when we achieve unimaginable success. It happens in a variety of ways. It happens in a moment when we decide to inspire someone that needs a word of inspiration. So thank you so much, Afi, for doing what you're doing, and excited to witness your journey. I'm just so excited to be here. I hope we're getting amazing comments from Facebook of the stories, and how so far the stories have touched the hearts of the people that are witnessing this moment, this historic moment where we unveil today's Inspired Leader Volume 2. And I'd like to bring you back to Chicago to feature an amazing leader that I've had the pleasure of knowing for many years. In the professional aspect, he has inspired me in many ways, and I'm happy to call him a partner in crime for a lot of magic that we've created over the years. Eli Lichter is a founder and chief digital strategist at the Loop Marketing Inc. in Chicago. He uses his years of experience in working with and for Fortune 500 companies to bring new perspectives in digital marketing and to small, medium-sized companies across the United States. Eli is a thought leader that provides insight for blogs across the web and publishes regularly on the Loop Marketing's site blog. As an in-demand event speaker, he continues to educate and guide business owners in emerging markets, techniques, and technologies. Eli resides in Chicago suburbs and dedicates his time to his family, music, and outdoor activities. And you can join him. I officially welcome you, Eli.
Thank you, Jackie. What a great opportunity. I continue to be blown away by all of the stories that I hear from all of these amazing authors, and I'm truly honored to be even mentioned, much less be in a book along them. I started my company in 2009. And prior to that, I had done a lot of public speaking for a big company. I was traveling all over speaking to small business owners. And a lot of the stories I heard are the same. In digital marketing, there was a lot of snake oil. There was a lot of people who didn't know what they were doing. There was a lot of malpractice going on. And one day I woke up to find that my whole position, the whole company had been bought, and I became an accidental entrepreneur. And a lot of entrepreneurs go out there and think, I got to have these huge revenue goals. I need to hire 20 people, and that's certainly great. And there are tons of great stories about people who do that. But I took a different approach, and I really found a lodestone, which was building a company that had integrity and honesty and transparency. And using that as a vision, I grew at my own pace. I was able to do a lot of traveling, got to see the world and really learn the human experience, which still brought me back to the fact that that was how I wanted to run the business, by doing that. And so, I think success means different things to different people, but as long as you have that great vision for your company, you can get to where you want to be. And even for an accidental entrepreneur, I think that I feel very lucky, but also very blessed to have completed the journey that I have and be in the position that I'm in now. Our company still obviously has that in mind, even though we're a little larger now. I have office hours that I have every Friday that I allow people to just jump on with me and at no charge, ask questions. I tell them the truth, the good truth and the bad truth. And I tell them everything I know about digital marketing. And we also once a year donate a website designed to a nonprofit. So I think it's important, again, to keep that vision for small business owners and use that as your guiding light. And again, thank you for the opportunity. I'm so excited to hear the rest of the stories this morning. And really, again, I can't wait to get my hands on the book myself. It's going to be exciting.
Yes, and commenting on that, I mean, the book is now available on Amazon. So for all of you watching, you can go to Amazon right now and get a copy of the book. And Eli, thank you. Oh, Leela is leaving already.
I'm going to go get my book right now.
You know what? And thank you, Eli, because you have been an inspiration, and I have witnessed your ethics and core values firsthand in all the projects that we worked on together. And Eli quotes is the most important thing that entrepreneurs need is not ambition, but vision. And you know, your vision to bring ethical behavior and values to your industry is just so admirable, because it's, you know, like I said, I've witnessed that over the years, and you keep aligning the words with the actions, and that's total congruency, and that is what a leader does. So thank you, Eli, for being here.
Thanks, Jackie, and thanks everyone else.
Wow, imagine bringing the largest collection of Latina stories in a book anthology series in the world. I never set myself my goal to make that happen, but it was, as I call them, divine downloads that kind of lead you in your path, and you feel something in your heart, and you say, this has to happen, right? This has to do with my mission. I don't know what that mission is, but I'm going to surrender. And to make something like that happen, you need an amazing editor, somebody that believes in the mission as much as you. And with that, I am making history here. We are making history, because for the first time, our amazing editor, Karen, comes from behind the scenes forward to make this happen. And I'm so proud to introduce you to Karen Dix. She has helped people communicate through the spoken word and written word for more than 25 years. In byline articles, web content, video scripts, and ghostwritten pieces, she joyfully creates and edits thousands of words daily for her clients of Big Ideas Writing, her B2B marketing and editorial services agency, which she founded in 2012. With a belief in smart marketing begins with the right message, Karen works with strategic partners like us to execute creative concepts, web development, lead generation pieces, and media relations. Karen is a seasoned editor and has personally worked with more than 200 authors, and actually now it's going to be more than 300, of the award-winning anthologies Today's Inspired Latina, 2 volumes of Today's Inspired Leader, and Today's Inspired Young Latina. She has also ghostwritten many well-received nonfiction books as well. Karen is the proud mother of 4 accomplished young adults who fill her life with joy, and has been married to her husband, Peter, for almost 30 years. She has been an active church volunteer, a catechist for more than 14 years, and was recently honored by the Joliet Diocese Catholic Committee on Scouting, the JDCCS, for her work in helping Scouts pursue their religious recognitions. It is a pleasure to welcome you, Karen.
Hi, thank you so much, Jackie. A pleasure to be here, and thank you for the wonderful opportunity. I really appreciate it. And also being part of this book with these amazing people. Your stories have inspired me from day one when I got that manuscript in my hands. It's just been a joy. You know, I've been writing and editing for over 25 years. I've written a lot of challenging things. I've ghostwritten very technical books and prefaces for very prominent people. 7 of my years have been spent at Fig Factor Media working on personal anthologies and things like that. So I thought, you know, this is writing my own story. This is going to be a snap. This is going to be so easy. It'll take me a couple hours. Let me tell you, was I wrong? This was actually the hardest thing I ever had to do. I had to really do soul searching about what leadership meant in my life. It really took me down a path of trying to figure out, you know, where I came from, how I got where I was. And I figured out that the thread that wove through my story was creativity. And how by following it, I got to a place where I am today, where I am so happy to be making my living and creating and helping other people create things. So it's been a wonderful journey. And I do thank you, Jackie, for everything you've done to put me on this path. Jackie has a way of nudging people out of their comfort zones. And that's what she had to do to me. I also wanted to just thank so many people in my life who have made a difference. My mom and dad, who are my moms out there, my husband, Peter, of 30 years, my children who inspire me every day, Liz, my partner in crime, and my cheerleaders out there who have, lifted a glass of wine with me, clapped for me in performances. I love you all. Thank you for being here. And again, Jackie, thank you so much. You are doing an amazing service to the world with these anthologies, and I'm so proud and humbled to be part of this one. And authors, you did it. Great job from your editor. Wonderful. Everybody celebrate.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Karen. I mean, it's incredible how one seed of one thought, or as I call them, divine download, can come to your heart. And as you surrender and people like you show up in your life to create an incredible dream team to manifest something that is bigger than you. And I think this standing here today and celebrating this amazing new book that is born out of creativity, out of love, out of pure connections of all these amazing people that I've had the honor of meeting and, guided with you as the editor. I think, it's just a micro moment of pure happiness that we're experiencing today. And I know it'll touch the lives. Your story and the stories of all the contributing authors will touch the lives of those that go to Amazon right now and buy it. Right? Thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you, Jackie.
Making your magic come to the world. Wow. And I don't know if you guys can see, I have a big heart that I'm wearing today because I was like, what can I wear today as we celebrate amazing individuals that have made a mark in the lives of people that they've come in touch with, and, people that have inspired me and inspired so many others. And I could not choose the heart today to be here with you guys. And wow, we continue. You know what? There are many ways that you can share the story. You can write your story right now on a piece of paper and a napkin. You can write it on the wall. You can graffiti it on a bridge. But if you take your story and if you encapsulate it into a beautiful book, it'll live on forever. And that's what we're doing today. We're encapsulating the lessons and mentorship moments in a book. And that is worth celebrating. I am so excited to go to our next author, Mauricio Garcia. He became known as the Harry Potter of finance because at a young age, people couldn't fathom how he magically grew their money safely while eliminating taxes in fees and their retirement plans. Later, he was known as the Alexander the Great of finance as he conquered the field and assumed every challenge like a strategist. He saw every angle and perspective, and each obstacle and challenge his clients had, he undertook and executed. Mauricio is still a financial strategist, but also an entrepreneur and a businessman actively involved in 6 successful companies. This range from financial services to marketing software. He also spends time creating content to inspire new generations of entrepreneurs. Mauricio is from Mexico and immigrated to the United States to achieve the American dream. He learned the keys to bringing services to thousands of people are using the power of media, such as radio and TV. In order to improve the lives of the many families as possible, Mauricio began a financial empowerment crusade in Mexico, the United States, and Canada several years ago. This program helps families increase their income and elevate their standard of living. Without further ado, please welcome Mauricio. You can tell that he's an expert. He's got the whole setup of the TV station. Thank you so much.
Just to prove how excited I am, Jackie, thank you so much. I'd like to begin first by just expressing how grateful I am, how humble I am to have the opportunity to share my story of going from a young, scared immigrant kid from Mexico to now being involved in several businesses with great potential. And I owe it all to the people that I have met through my life, because everything that I know, I have learned from somebody else, from a mentor, from somebody who has that great vision, that have been kind enough to share that with me. And so I found many amazing people that have shared their wisdom, their knowledge, their experience, and that had led me to pursue the ideas that I believed in. And so without them, I don't know if I would be where I am today. But I wanna take this opportunity to thank all of those people that have impacted my life, that have shared their knowledge, because I am a better person now because of that. And the intention of, when the opportunity came to write this book, like many of the authors have expressed that, I thought, who would be interested in my story? But thanks to you and the team that motivated me to go ahead and write the story. Now that I read it, I can see that I am able to pass on the many things that I have been able to learn from the people that have made an impact in my life. And like one of my mentors says, if you want positive changes in your life, all you got to do is kind of change your attitude. But if you want quantum, if you want massive changes in your life, you have to change your paradigm. And I say that because I'd like to read just a few quotes that have just very little of what I've been able to learn from many of my mentors, that I was able to kind of put in my own words. They're not exact quotes, but I do want to read them. There are 4 of them, and you'll find a lot of these in my story, because these are the things that in the moments where I find myself ready to just throw in the towel, ready to just give up, these are the paradigms, these are the ideas, these are the concepts, these are the quotes that help me get back up. And if these things help me, I'm sure they're going to be able to help other people. So one of them basically says, an imperfect plan violently executed is better than a plan waiting to be perfect. How many times are we waiting for that perfect moment? How many times do we feel not ready, unprepared to be able to execute on a plan? And I was like that when I first, began entrepreneurship in 1998. And these words right here basically made me understand that you gotta strike, because knowledge always creates. Activity always creates knowledge. Which brings me to the next quote. To read it in a better way is that all the knowledge in the world, all the talent in the world is almost worthless if it lacks aggressiveness. So these words that I find in my mentors over and over again about immediate action, being aggressive, just do it now, act on the little you know, don't wait for the perfect time. Those things have really changed in the way I operate and the way I think whenever I want to pursue something. If I have the idea, I execute, because I know that the sooner and the most aggressive action that I take, the faster I'll fail, the faster I'll figure out a way to get to where I want to go. And so those are the things, those are the paradigm shifts that I talk about that made great impact in my life. Now, I know because of the 2 minute here, we'll not be able to go to a lot of them, but I picked 4 of them that have made major impact in my life. Now, the other thing is that really marked me. It says, success, power, and wealth are indiscriminate. When I heard those from my mentor, I said, great, that really gave me light, gave me motivation, gave me hope, because it says that success, power, and wealth, they don't care who owns them. They are there for whomever thinks they should have them. And so, I do tell my story in the book about how I went 1998, started entrepreneurship in the financial industry, and how those principles, those fundamentals, and more importantly, the paradigms that you need to adopt as an entrepreneur, which comes from mental toughness, from positive thinking, from reading and changing your paradigm, from understanding marketing and sales. All these different things obviously are the result of who I am today. And that's obviously in the story. So I hope that people who are joining us today pick up a copy and read the stories of the amazing authors that are there. And thank you very much for the opportunity to allow me to be able to share the things that have helped me, and hopefully they also make an impact on somebody else's life. So Jackie, and also thank you to the whole team that made this possible. Really a dream come true for me.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mauricio. I think that, those snippets, those quotes that guide our lives become sort of the true north, right, in our lives. And I love, how you've encapsulated all these different quotes, principles, because as you take them, internalize them, and make them come to life, right? Your quote, which I love, says, once you take action, you acquire new knowledge. And how beautiful. I mean, it's basically what we've been speaking about today is how do you take your thoughts, ideas, and then take action so you have congruency, right? The only way that you can show up as a true leader is by how your actions match up to your words and your beliefs. So thank you so much for sharing that wisdom. And I know that many will be taking action because of your words today. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow. We come back to Chicago to an amazing leader that I've also had the beautiful blessing of witnessing over the years. Introducing Terry Simmons. Terry grew up in rural Alabama, realizing her passion to help others at an early age. She became the first college graduate in her family, earning a bachelor's in business and an MBA from Aurora University. She worked in corporate America for more than 30 years, most notably creating process improvements to save a company more than $15 million annually. Terry launched and became the first executive director of the Women's Business Center in Aurora, which supports women entrepreneurs with low to moderate incomes. She was also the first woman chair of the board of the Quad County African American Chamber of Commerce. As a CEO of Strategic Exceptions, Terry is a business mentor, professional guide, and a motivator to entrepreneurs on a global scale. She creates and grows small businesses and supports leaders in career advancement. Recently, she was featured speaker for the Cranes Small Business Week in the Chicago Auto Show and honored for her leadership by the Delta Sigma Theta Inc. Top Ladies of Distinction and the Daily Herald. She started the Lewis Simmons Foundation in 2019 to advocate for her prison reform and second chances for the incarcerated. Her talk show, Terry Talks Tea, is now available at her business website. Welcome, Terry.
Hello, Jackie. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm very excited about this honor today. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it. So thank you, Jackie. You mentioned that I grew up in Alabama. I'm in Alabama right now with my sisters. My father passed away, so we buried him on yesterday. So I'm glad that I was able to be here today. And I talk a lot in the book about strength. Well, while I'm here, my husband became ill and now he's in the hospital. So talking about strength and being a mentor and guiding, and I'm really thankful for this opportunity, even with all of that, to be able to share my story. Because in the book, that's what I do. I share my story from when I was a small girl growing up in Alabama and how I have been able to reflect on my life and see how I've been guided as a leader and to fulfill my purpose of mentoring others, especially young women. So I want to thank Jackie for allowing me to do this because it has been a dream of mine for a long time. And Jackie mentioned that we've known each other for quite some time. When I first met Jackie, Jackie was the keynote speaker at the Daily Herald Annual Business Awards. And I was there to support some other people. And also when I worked in corporate, I would attend the events every year. Well, I met Jackie there and not knowing that eventually I would be the recipient of that award that she keynoted for. And then the other thing this year in 2020, when I was planning, I do my annual planning at the beginning of the year. And in February, I was at a resort up in Wisconsin and it was snowing like crazy. And I was sitting there in front of this huge fireplace and I look out and I see Jackie and her family and her husband, and they're leaving. And a part of my goals for 2020 that I had just written down was that I wanted to become an author in 2020. And that's what I write about in my book. In the book, too, is about how life is not a sprint, that it's a marathon, that good things take time, and that in time, those good things will mature and they will become perfect and they will fulfill their purpose. So I talk about that in the book to a lot of young people that I mentor. And so I keep reaching here because I'm going to my phone because I have a few notes and I know we have 2 minutes. So, but I'd like to thank Jackie again and her marketing team for allowing me this opportunity, Big Factor Media. And so in the book, I talk a lot about mentorship and about my life and how I often seek out outlets to encourage and equip and empower women all over the world. And for that, I'm extremely grateful. Another one of my goals for 2020 was that I wanted to impact 1,000 women personally for 2020. Well, I started my talk show, Terry Talks Tea, and that dream and that goal has come true for 2020. So in the book, I also talk about how when you put things in the universe, how they come back to you. So 2020 goals with Jackie in the book has been manifested. I put them in the universe when I was in Wisconsin and she was there and they came back. But in the book, I also talk about, as the CEO of Strategic Exception and being a proud businesswoman, I'm even more proud to be a mentor of so many young women in business. And this is such an important part of my life to help other women thrive and to build their businesses in addition to serving in a selfless manner, in trying to be positive and being a guide and showing them how to be smart while being fearless as well, asking questions, and then reflecting, and then being able to ask again. And one of my mottos is, you don't know what you don't know, never be afraid to ask. That has helped me on my journey when I finally got away from my traditional way I was raised, that girls are supposed to be quiet and not heard. And I finally started asking, and I started realizing that I could get answers to questions, I could contribute, I could bring value, I could be recognized for the value that I bring. And that started to give me energy. And I started to feel my power. And I started to feel I was walking in my purpose. So that's what I share in the book about being a mentor and about not being afraid to seek out mentors who are honest with you, that can talk to you not only about the things that you're good at, but about things where there's opportunity for improvement. Because those are the type of people that I had in my life. I remember having a lot of challenges at an early age, getting married, having kids, all of those things, that having a career, and then living in Illinois where I really didn't have a lot of family. So I had to seek out mentors that could help me along the way and that could listen to me and guide me in a positive direction. So in the book, I talk a lot about that. And I'm grateful to Jackie, again, and her team for just allowing me to share and talk about how I go through that process with so many young people. I also talk about in the book how to stay motivated. And another quote that I live by is from a famous actor that we all know, Will Smith, who once said, "Decide what it's gonna be, who you're gonna be, and how you're gonna do it. And then from that point, the universe will get out of your way." In other words, line yourself up for success and success will happen. Doesn't mean that you do not have to do the work. Definitely have to do the work. I mentioned planning. You have to plan. That's necessary. It has to be a part of what you do. But I realize throughout my life, and as I reflect in the book, how the universe has listened to me and how things have aligned for me, such as Jackie being in my path to be able to bring this book to manifest, being a part of this this great team of other authors. So again, I want to thank Jackie and her team for allowing me to do this. And also, I want to thank all of the individuals who just allow me to sow into them and to listen to me. And for those who feel that I have something of value to offer and to plant seeds of goodness into your life, I really appreciate that. So on behalf of my company, Strategic Exception, thanks to all the authors. I really look forward to getting to know you. We have people from across the world, and I'm really excited about that. I love networking. I love meeting new people. I think your network cannot be big enough. So thanks again to all of you, and thanks again to you, Jackie.
Thank you so much, Terry, for being such an amazing role model in our community and for always giving back through your advice and wisdom and knowledge and mentoring so many in the community. Thank you so much. And great, condolences for the loss of your father. And I hope your husband recovers. We're going to be praying for you. Thank you for being here. That means a lot, given the circumstances. Thank you. And that Terry is such a great example of how you inspire despite the adversities. She's here with us celebrating today's launch to the world of this amazing wisdom by all of the authors joining us from across the world. And now I'd like to introduce you to Tanisha Lambert. Tanisha Lambert is a professional entrepreneur who has been conceptualizing and driving startup businesses and social impact results for more than 25 years. Passionate about small business development and invigorating nonprofits, Tanisha creates economic equity, unleashes creative potential, and builds healthy partnerships. She lived and breathed entrepreneurship as a child, thanks to her mother, a businesswoman who taught Tanisha what it meant to build your own, nourish, and partner in business. Tanisha's desire to help women like her mom, who have amazing potential but few resources, solidified her purpose and calling as an entrepreneur and as a guide to help women and minorities. She strives to give women and minorities access to resources, exposure that is often readily available for other populations. Her overall mission is to decrease economic disparity through entrepreneurship. Tanisha is a lifelong learner with more than 100 college credit hours, mostly from DePaul University, where she studied marketing. She's an avid researcher and an attentive listener who loves dancing, cooking, and creating memorable moments with family and friends. She lives in Naperville with her husband, Mario, and her children, Maria and Mario III. Welcome, Tanisha.
Thank you, Jackie. It's so great to be here. And it's an honor to be among all of these other authors. And I just want to tell everyone congratulations. This has definitely been flexing a new muscle for me. I told Jackie earlier this year, or actually last year, that I was ready to step outside of myself, step outside of my comfort zone and step out from the shadows because I am a researcher. So I spend a lot of time with my computer and I was ready to get from behind the computer and just really come out and put myself out there to be a resource and to help other women with their dreams and aspirations and even discovering their identity and their purpose. So when I told that to Jackie, I had no idea that she would propel me in the way that she has. And I was joking the other day, I said, the saying is be careful what you wish for, but really is be careful what you tell Jackie because she's going to make it happen for you. So thank you, Jackie. I really appreciate everything that you've done. You've been a great coach, mentor, friend, and I've known you for many years, but just recently we've gotten to know each other a lot better. And I appreciate those moments and the time that we've spent together. So I'm just really excited to be here. I think the thing that I want to share about the book, happy to hear that it's on Amazon. Go ahead and purchase it. Anyone who wants to read the stories. But I hear a lot of people saying that they're ready for 2021. And I think that just by judging by a lot of what we've heard so far from the authors today, there's a lot of work that can still be done in 2020. So let's not rush it and try to get to 2021 when there are things that we can do to really set up and be more successful for 2021. You know, if what I speak about a lot in this book is finding your identity and your purpose. And if you haven't yet been introduced to yourself, I encourage you to take the rest of this year and really just try to learn who you are, learn who you are organically and not based on people are motivating and inspiring, but at the same time, we can lose ourselves by looking at other people. So just take some time and reflect on who you are. I was able to do that this year in my garden. I planted a lot of vegetables and flowers and different things, and that was my time for meditating and studying. And I did a lot of soul searching. How I did it. And if you feel a calling to do it that way, do it. Do it. You have nothing to lose. Part of my tagline is God says yes to us even when we reject him. And in the way that he's saying yes is he's always there for us. He's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He's the most stable thing in my life and the most stable thing for a lot of people. So definitely that was the way that I got to know myself. And I feel that through finding my identity and my purpose, my ambition has been elevated. A lot of people know me to do many things, spread myself in a lot of ways. Kind of like a jack of all trades. I don't want to say a master of none because I think I've mastered a few, but I am a jack of all trades. And I started feeling guilty about that because I'm wondering if I was wondering if my ambition was too great. But really, through finding myself in scripture and learning about myself, finding my identity and my purpose, I really was able to connect with Proverbs 31. And I feel that I am a Proverbs 31 woman. And as a Proverbs 31 woman, a lot of the guilt that I felt about being ambition is no longer there. So I know a lot of women feel that way because they come to my daycare center and sometimes they're guilty about being ambitious, guilty about having a career. But really, God gave us gifts and he gave us a purpose. So it's nothing to be guilty or ashamed about. And then just as I close up, the one thing that I want to mention is that leaders understand faith. So whether you're an entrepreneur just starting out, you're a parent, you're in corporate America, we're all working to make the intangible tangible. So we're looking to create something that's never been done before. And it requires faith. And faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So just keep that in mind and just make the most out of the rest of this year.
Thank you, Tanisha. And I think we've all been through the ringer in 2020, and but it's finding that silver lining in adversity that can help us propel us. Like I know that many people have been saying, let's wait until 2021, but I think there's a lot of magic happening in this moment as well. And your words of getting to know ourselves. And we're hoping that the readers find the micro moments to get to know themselves by the prompts and the stories and the mentorship moments shared in the book as a reflective, reflection moment for them. So thank you so much for sharing that wisdom, Tanisha.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing your continued success in the entrepreneurial world. Thank you. And now I'd like to bring on camera Melissa Kell. Melissa is a CPA and a president of Ricky Office Interiors, a 27-year-old office furniture manufacturer here in the state of Illinois with a state-of-the-art manufacturing facility in Elgin, Illinois. Ricky Office Interiors transforms spaces into places that inspire. Melissa is an innovator at heart who loves people, numbers, and a TD workspace. Not necessarily in that order. She's committed to helping others win the game of business. She's a mother of 2 awesome boys and has been blessed with 2 amazing grandchildren. She's known for her positivity and continual personal growth plan. Melissa is the winner of the Daily Herald Business Ledger Entrepreneurial Excellence Awards, the C-Suite Awards, and also a member of EO, Entrepreneurs Organization of Chicago. Ricky Office Interiors is passionate about helping Easter Seals and has hosted their annual Share Valuable fundraiser for more than 10 years. Melissa and her management team have developed a values-based inspiring hiring process that uses cutting-edge technology. Thank you so much and welcome, Melissa.
Well, I want to start out by thanking Jackie, JJR Marketing, and Fig Factor Media in believing in me and letting me share in this experience. It's been a wonderful journey. I've always wanted to write a book, never thought I would because I'm the numbers girl and not a words person, but Jackie and her team helped me out. And I'm excited to have this chapter be the start of something that can continue on of me writing more books. I really enjoyed the experience. Looking back on all of the experiences in my life, at the time, most of those experiences, I've had plenty of good times in my life, but as a child, as a teenager, I've had many bad experiences happen in my life. And now that I look back on those, a lot of those bad experiences actually helped me be the successful person that I am today. I learned a lot of good lessons in those experiences. I'm a firm believer in bad experiences actually just open the door for growth and good experiences. I've looked back on many of times and I'm like, oh man, if that bad experience wouldn't have happened, it wouldn't have opened the door for this other wonderful experience. So I'm very excited to have been able to explore that and look at it. Most of the time, us as business leaders and people of the community doing great things don't have time to actually look back on your life or take the time to write things out. So I'm really excited that my grandchildren will be able to read this one day. And I'm looking forward to reading all the other chapters from these amazing authors. And I'm hoping that you will read the book, find a lesson in the book, because there's many great lessons in this book. Find one that inspires you, that helps propel your future success. Learning from other people's experiences can help you not have so much heartache and pain in your own journey. So I'm really hoping that by reading these wonderful chapters, that there's things that you can take into your life to where you can learn that lesson from somebody else and not have to go down some of those roads that other people have had to go down. So I'm really enjoying this process. I am excited about the book. I would love for all of you to get the book. And then I want to meet all of you in person, everybody on Facebook Live, as well as all the great authors. Thanks.
Thank you, Melissa, for inspiring me. I mean, seeing your leadership and seeing the culture that you've created in your team and working with you, to elevate and share that message with the world has been nothing but inspiring. And, books like this allow our heart to express itself for something that we know that we live by, and now encapsulated in a beautiful collection of stories. Now that could be the perfect springboard to, like you said, continue writing and continue to inspire more through the beautiful, magical world of books that I've been part of since I was 4 years old. So thank you so much for inspiring me, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And now we go to the other side of the pond, back to Belgium. I am so excited. We're going to have our next author, and she's probably going to do a combination of English, Spanish, and Dutch. And it's something there to inspire you in a multilingual approach. Please allow me to welcome Virginia Terceros Hoylebroek. Virginia is a visionary strategist who was born in Bolivia in the city of La Paz, the highest capital city in the entire world, where she was raised under the rules and strategies of chess. Virginia was not yet of age when she was appointed manager of an important business in La Paz. Soon afterwards, she became a general manager. Her experience helped her launch an award-winning manufacturing company for children's furniture. I see a connection with Melissa there. She sold her company and traveled around Europe before settling in Belgium more than 20 years ago. She's currently the general director of WZC Blaspand Nursing Home in Westerlo, province of Antwerp. Virginia saved the nursing home from bankruptcy and is now leading the business through COVID-19 crisis. She has a degree in financial auditing, a postgraduate degree with administration management of nursing homes. She speaks 5 languages and is a strong advocate for those in need. Welcome, Virginia. Bienvenida. We can't hear you, so let's make sure that you're... Virginia, let's take you off mute. Let's see. I think you have to take the mute off. Your computer is muted. Let me see. Technical team, please, if you can help me unmute her.
Hi, everyone.
Yes, she's here. I love it.
Good morning, America. Good afternoon, Europe. Hello, everybody. The last year, we are together in Antwerp and in Paris. An amazing moment with beautiful Pilotina and Karen and all ladies from today, Inspiring Latina. You know, all dreams are born from a special passion. And to make them become a reality, we must first understand exactly what power gives impulse to our life. I am Virginia Calizaya Terceros y mi vida es el mayor impulso fue el de mi padre, que a través del juego del ajedrez, con su lógica, su ética, me enseñó a ser una estratega. Este juego ciencia hizo de mí la mujer que hoy en día le pone frente a todos los problemas en un país muy lejano al mío. Nací, como dijo nuestra presentadora Jackie, en la ciudad más alta del mundo, La Paz, Bolivia. I have been the director of a nursing home facility called One-Sort Central Flaspan. For more than 12 years in Belgium, I made my work my passion, and I feel identified with the essence of my person. My reason is to help, assist, to serve, to elderly, and my leadership is based on my example and love. Taking care of my elderly como me gustaría que me cuidaran cuando llegue el momento. Gracias, Jacqueline, por brindarme la oportunidad. Thank you for this opportunity de dar a conocer mi mensaje. Gracias a mis hijos por su amor y un agradecimiento muy honrado a todo mi equipo de profesionales que trabajan para que la vida del adulto mayor sea lo mejor posible en el epílogo de sus vidas. Mucho más aún en este momento en el que el coronavirus nos tiene acorralado a todos, trabajando arduamente por el sector más vulnerable de toda la sociedad. Sabiendo que la vejez en sí misma es una aislación insidiosa y ahora la aislamos físicamente, impuesta por una pandemia. A veces me pregunto qué es peor, morir por el COVID o por soledad, sin contacto con sus seres queridos, sin poder dar un abrazo, sin poder dar un beso a quienes te dieron el origen de la vida. Si quieres conocer más de esta historia, te invito a leer estas páginas. Tengo una voluntad férrea de crear nuevas oportunidades ante las adversidades. Entre tanto, seguiré trabajando por una vejez digna hasta que las fuerzas me lo permitan. Les doy gracias a todos y por favor lean este hermoso libro que hay muchos participantes que cuentan una historia hermosa. Gracias, Jackie. Gracias a todos.
Muchísimas gracias. Thank you, Virginia, for your passion to help seniors and to be at the helm of this amazing center that is certainly been hit by COVID-19 and your chess strategist and your vision as a leader have allowed your patients, your elderly, to be safe during one of the most horrible episodes with this pandemic. So thank you so much for your leadership and continue to inspire us. Thank you. Gracias.
A ti las gracias. A ti las gracias, preciosa.
Y ahora, I am switching now. Okay, German, Spanish. What are we? What are we speaking? Thank you so much. We now welcome Ricardo Trinidad from Wisconsin, Illinois. Let me tell you about Ricardo.
Wisconsin, Illinois, girl.
Illinois. Wisconsin, Illinois. Wow.
Where from?
I mean, it's like, hey, we're all allowed to have some brain farts, right, in our lives. I just married 2 states in the United States. I just married them together. They're going to have cheese and some other stuff.
It's nice to know I can give you mental gas.
Exactly. I love it. Let me tell the audience about your amazing trajectory from Milwaukee, Illinois, not Wisconsin, Illinois. Ricardo Trinidad is an author, speaker, and the CEO of Telecom and Data. Raised in a working class family in Chicago's South Side, his Puerto Rican father and Texan mother led by example through their daily hard work, and he quickly acquired an entrepreneurial mindset. Ricardo made jobs for himself to earn extra money. After completing high school and a few college courses, Ricardo's path led to the telecommunications industry. Employed by Edison, New Jersey-based telecom and data company, he was asked to open up an office in Chicago. After a few years, Trinidad founded Telecom and Data in his Chicago apartment with $3,000 in savings. His risk and tenacity paid off. The company grew quickly because of his industry knowledge, the relationships he had built in the field, and his collaborative leadership style. 22 years later, Telecom and Data is now headquartered in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and is one of the nation's leading providers of traditional telecommunications equipment. Trinidad is a sought-after speaker and trainer who particularly enjoys mentoring young people and is the author of 123 Got My Job, available on Amazon like today's Inspired Leader.
Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate that. Coming here from Wisconsin, the COVID epicenter of the world now. But I'm really excited. I've loved hearing all the stories that I've heard today. You know, everybody's been so inspired. I can see you've done a great job with the gathering all of these great authors. And it's been really just a wonderful morning listening to everybody. I just wanted to talk, just really briefly about my experience recently with writing 1, 2, 3 Got My Job. And this came about because one of the things of having this company for 22 years is I realized that leadership is really another word for serving others. And I didn't know that as much as until a friend of mine whose name is Mauricio Garzon. Mauricio. He is a business teacher for Milwaukee Public Schools. And he asked me one day, he says, Ricardo, por favor, I need your help. I'm like, what do you need, Mauricio? He goes, I want to know if you will come in and talk to our students. I have this business class and you have so much experience in business. I was wondering if you would just come in and meet everybody and talk about your business experience and hopefully, give them a little glimmer of what it is to own your own business. And I said, absolutely, Mauricio. He's a good friend of mine, Colombian guy. I love this guy to death. He's got the typical big Colombian heart. And of course, I'll help you, Mauricio. So I went to the school and I met all these kids and started to go around the room and introduce myself and find out about what their dreams were. And so we're in a business class to learn about entrepreneurship. And I went around and I said, okay, raise your hand. Who likes to be told what to do? And nobody raised their hand. I said, me neither. I said, now tell me, who's going to own their own business? And nobody had their hand up either. I said, you're in an entrepreneurial class for business, but nobody wants to own their own business? No. I went around the room. What do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a basketball player. I want to be a fireman. I want to be a mechanic. I want to be working in a salon. And I'm like, whoa, this is not entrepreneurship at all. So this lit me on fire because now I wanted to understand what was holding them back from thinking about owning their own business. And so now Mauricio asked me one time to go there. Now I talked to Mauricio and said, Mauricio, I want to be coming here all the time. I want to have opportunity to meet with you kids and to sit in and talk about this. And so I joined up basically with Mauricio and started going to and listening and sitting down and talking to all of these high school kids, juniors and seniors. And that just got me so inspired. And I started thinking about my own experiences growing up and knocking on doors to go get a job. And then I started thinking about all my experiences as a salesperson, again, knocking on a lot of doors to find the next opportunity for my company. And then as a business owner, meeting so many different companies and business owners and taking all those experiences and putting together in a book that I could get over to some of these young people. And I got to tell you, this whole thing is taken over really my life because great, I have my own business, 22 years. I travel all over the place. I meet companies everywhere. I've had so many great challenges, so many great experiences. But be honest with you, this is so much more satisfying. It is so much more satisfying to go in and talk and listen and ask them, what's your dream job? And how do you find your perfect dream job? And listening to all those answers and then unlocking and opening up ideas to all those kids. It's been great. And Jackie, she heard my story and she was like, Ricardo, you got to get your book out. And she stayed on top of me. Of course, you all know that she will stay on top of you. She will get you out of your comfort zone. I heard that. And we've done it. And so, again, I'm just so pleased and to have this opportunity to serve others. And I think really that's the key. And listening to all of you, I realize that too. You all have the same idea. You know that serving others is the key to it all. And I wish everybody here so much success. And thank you so much, everybody. And thank you, Jackie. Appreciate it.
Oh, Ricardo, thank you so much for sharing that message. And, I love your quote because it aligns perfectly with what you just said about entrepreneurship. We've heard that theme throughout. I have to take geography classes too to make sure that I don't, make up statements. But that quote of everybody will tell you that starting a business is hard, but it's really not, right? And it's awakening this burning desire in the youth and in people that have always wanted to kind of create their own thing that might not know what the path is. So I'm so happy that you're leading the way. I'm happy that you're opening doors for the youth to awaken that entrepreneurial, bug, to maybe create something on their own. So thank you so much for your leadership. Thank you for being here. I know that, when we mentioned, I love to make things happen. For me, being a cancer survivor like you has awakened this sense of urgency to serve. And I think in those moments when you find yourself with a message to be shared with the world, this awakening of this sense of urgency to serve other people and elevate them through your message. To me, that's what drives me. So, today is the day that you make your magic happen because tomorrow is not guaranteed. So thank you so much for that inspiration. Thank you for your resiliency and for continuing to do all the magic that you do and for bringing some humor because I with the brain fart, we kind of lighten up the mood and then, we can have something to laugh about for the rest of the day. But thank you, Ricardo.
By the way, do you like my pen?
Oh, the golden wings?
Do you like my pen?
I
You like
love it? Yeah, the golden pilotina wings, little wings, and as my little Amelia. There's a story behind it. So if you guys want to find out more about it, send us a message on Fig Factor Media. But thank you so much for when I had to wear my glasses. Can you imagine being a blind pilot? Not a good combination. I need to be able to see that runway. But thank you so much, Ricardo. And
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
And now we welcome to this amazing stage Macarena Tamayo Calabrese. She is the president and CEO of Neighbor Settlement, a nationally accredited and leading history museum. She has 25 years of law experience, including 15 years with American Bar Association, ABA, directing the International Liaison Office of Latin America and Caribbean Law Initiative. She implemented several rule of law projects for democracies and criminal and human rights, and all those issues and training programs for government officials in Africa and in China. While practicing immigration law, she served as a liaison committee for the American Immigration Lawyers Association, also known as AILA, Department of Homeland Security's Office of Chief Counsel. She was the chair-elect for the Illinois Bar Association, known as ISBA, International Immigration Law Section, and appointed to the ABA Commission and the Immigration Advisory Committee and the advisory board of its magazine, Perspectives. As the executive director of the National Association of Women's Lawyers, Macarena was one of only 6 Latinas to head a national organization. She's a contributing author to Dear Sisters, Dear Daughters, Strategies for Success for Multicultural Women Attorneys, and a chair of the Diversity Committee for the Chicago Bar Association. Macarena graduated from Hofstra School of Law in New York. She and her husband, Michael, have 3 amazing daughters and own a law firm. Welcome, Macarena.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, Jackie, and thanks, everyone. One of the most wonderful things is just how much we learn when we listen to others. And for me, having come last has been truly an amazing experience because I've learned so much just listening and understanding that I'm not done learning. It's one of the most wonderful things. As I talk to you today, I really want to talk to you about baking. Because you see, baking is a very precise skill, isn't it? And when you put too much of something, your cake, your bread, whatever it is that you're baking, just doesn't come out right. It has to be precise. And that's how inspirational leadership works. It's a skill. And for those of you that are out there thinking to yourself, well, I'm more introverted, I don't know if I can do this. What I'm here to tell you is that it may be easier for some, perhaps if they're extroverted, but the reality is that leadership, true leadership and inspiration comes from passion, not unbridled passion, because that is often destructive. But really it comes from that passion, because those of us that are leaders, we're a little prickly. We're a little obsessive. We are focused. We're laser focused to the point that sometimes we forget other things. And the reason that we are like that is because we need to ensure that what we're baking is absolutely precise, that it tastes right, that it has the perfect amount of balance and temperature and length in the oven. But I think the other thing that we have to remember is that when we bake a cake, when we're baking that cake, we're really baking it for others. And that is the message also that I'd like to bring here. And it's the idea that leadership is to be, and particularly inspirational leading, is something that is done for others. You are in the service of others. And if you believe that what you're doing is important, for me, for example, my passion is justice. It's the reason I became a lawyer. And it's the reason that today I am at the Napier Settlement at the museum. I believe in justice, and I believe that telling the story of the human family, for example, is one of the most important things that we can do. It's where we learn about curiosity. It's where we learn about what it means to be human. It's where we learn how to get along with others, how our governments work and, sort of struggle to find a better moment. And so that has been something that has fueled my passion in the very same way that I defended immigrants, that I did criminal justice reform, and that I even did a variety of programs and projects on anti-trafficking. It's that passion for justice, for an understanding that we have a responsibility to leave the world better than we found it. And so, however I can contribute to this book,
I think technical difficulties from Macarena's universe transmitting, and we'll see if we can get her back in. But if not, we can continue on. I mean, that's part of life. And you know what? Her quote is so beautiful, and I love that analogy between baking and inspirational leadership. She says, real leadership requires authority with responsibility. So I remember probably one of the least likely people to quote, but from a movie from Spider-Man. And he basically said, in part of the movie, he said, with great success comes great responsibility. And that is so true, especially today as we celebrate the launch of today's Inspired Leader. We embrace, the awesome responsibility of being a leader. And the way that we know that if we're leaders is by the feedback that we get from our communities, the feedback that we get from people saying, you've inspired me to be a leader. You've made me a better person today. So we thank Macarena. I don't know, some technical difficulties there with her internet, but I want to close up with a little story before I bring all of the authors. I'm going to ask you to turn on your cameras in preparation for this moment. But before we go and finish up this beautiful moment of inspiration that we've experienced today, I want to tell you that when I was 12 years old, we never wanted to know who that was, but actually somebody burned our house in Mexico. We had moved from Mexico City to a very small town in Aguascalientes. And unfortunately, a couple of young kids were playing around and whatever, they actually set our house on fire. And I remember playing in the plaza of our town and people coming up to me saying, your house is on fire. My house was located in the highest point of the town. And certainly you could see the flames coming out of it. Now imagine the path from the plaza to the house, knowing that my house was on fire. I had all kinds of emotion. I almost felt like my life, my 12 years of life on this planet was flashing right before me, thinking, is my dad there? Thinking, is my brother there? Are they safe? You know, are my toys burning? But most importantly, are my books burning? Because you see, I fell in love when I was 4 years old with these amazing books that I didn't understand. Books from Dale Carnegie, Napoleon Hill, Zig Ziglar, Og Mandino, that shaped the way that I saw life. And they were my babysitters. So as I was on the way there to the house, I kept thinking, my books, I don't care about anything else. Of course, my family, most important thing, but I don't care about any other of my possessions. I want my books to be okay. Unfortunately, most 80% of those books were burned and they were gone. And in a moment of complete despair and devastation, as I was witnessing my house burn all the way inside as an oven, because the walls didn't burn down, just everything inside of it as a horror movie. I was hugging my mom and my brother. My dad was on his way. And I remember something that changed my life. That was the first moment that I faced adversity in such a way, but I saw beauty on the other side. I said, I know that my books are gone, but I've already read those books. I promise myself today that I will make those principles come to life, that I will dedicate my life to those core values that I've learned, that I've read over and over again. And today, that is our message. How do you take the words and the wisdom and the inspiration and the intellectual property of experiences that has been captured by people that came before you, by the leaders that are here in this call that have proven themselves to be leaders with their inspiration? How do you take those words and make them part of your life? And how do you activate those words? So remember that the congruency between your thoughts, your words, and your actions are the best way that you can inspire and elicit inspiration in other people as a leader. So with that, don't let those thoughts burn. Discover something and make them come to life and have a sense of urgency to serve. This is the common denominator of all the people, all the amazing leaders that have spoken before you today. And now I'd like to bring them all on camera so that you can see them. You might see me twice. So you don't want to have two Jackies, but please bring your hands together as we congratulate the amazing contributing authors of today's Inspired Leader Volume 2 on this beautiful day of October 17, 2020, that will be remembered as the day that we led this amazing book to the world. And if you can unmute yourself really quick to say, you know, a big scream or something to... Yay!
Congratulations.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And we have to do something very special. We have to take off because we're taking off on this amazing dream. And as you guys know, as a pilot, I live, you know, with a flying principle. So if I can please... if you can please join me in taking off today and with the Pilotina wings and this amazing dream so we can take the official photo, and maybe we'll ask somebody on social media to take an actual photo. Maybe extend your wings to fly. Christine, you have to extend them like, you know, you're flying perfect. Wonderful.
So let's fly.
Woo! And remember,
from all over the world.
Yes, from all over the world. Taking off is optional. Landing on your dreams of inspiring, elevating other people is mandatory. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jackie.
To everyone around the world.
Thank you.
Let's
Thank
do
you,
this.
Jackie.
Woo!
Woo!
Awesome.
Bravo.
Big kiss.
Thank you.
Please.
Adiós, hermanas.
Adiós. El
Yeah.
próximo año en Europa, Jackie, te espero.
Volgende keer. Dag iedereen.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Au revoir.
A todos, gracias. Thank you.
Thank you.